talk about self-indulgence in your walk with God, because if there's anything that's going to mess up your relationship with God or make you lose your fire for God, it's self-indulgence. So let's talk about it. Self-indulgence is pretty much giving your flesh whatever it wants whenever it wants it. Like if you Google it, if I'm self-indulgent, I kind of just do whatever I want whenever I want. Like if I want to eat this, I go eat this. I want to watch this, I go watch this. There's no discipline, there's no self-control. You just do what you want when you want, and you indulge in yourself. And of course, as Christians, what that looks like is indulging in your flesh. And the issue is when you're indulging in your flesh, Paul says in Galatians that the desires of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, and the desires of the flesh contradict each other. So when you're indulging in your flesh, this makes sense why John says, I believe in 1 John, that it's impossible to please God in the flesh. So the reason this messes up your walk with God and you begin to lose your fire for God, like I can guarantee you, if you're someone who feel like you've lost your fire for God, I can almost guarantee you it's self-indulgence. Because here's what happens. Jesus says, if you love me, you'll keep my commandments. But if we're not keeping his commandments, we're literally not loving him. We're being disobedient, and it's a complete lack of love for God. When you go back to your sin that God set you free from, you're doing that because of a lack of love for God. So of course, when you're indulging in yourself, if the desires of the Spirit and the flesh contradict each other, you're beginning to lose your love for God, and you're beginning to love your sin and your flesh more than you love God. And of course, this throws up your walk with God. It completely throws it off, because now you're living in sin instead of walking with the Spirit. So I want to emphasize something to you. A self-indulgent life is a dead life. In 1 Timothy 5, Paul's talking about widows, and he says, she who is self-indulgent is dead even while she lives. So I want to emphasize something to you. If you feel like you have, like your relationship with God is so off right now, if you feel like you lost your fire for God, like you have no desire to read the word like you used to, you have no desire to pray, to seek God, I want you to look at your life. What of your flesh have you been indulging in willingly? Like for a lot of people today, that's lust. I hate to break it to you, but it's probably lust for a lot of you. You're indulging in your lust, and then you're like surprised that you don't want to seek God anymore. It's probably because your flesh hates God. It's in constant rebellion against God, and you're feeding your flesh. But let me emphasize something to you as Christians. A self-indulgent life is not for Christians. We are not called to a self-indulgent life. We're called to deny ourselves, which is the complete opposite. So if you're living a life of self-indulgence right now and it's messing up your walk with God and you want to fix it, the solution is denying yourself. The desires of the Spirit and the flesh contradict each other. So if you want to walk with God, you have to deny yourself. That's why Jesus says, if anyone wants to come after me and follow me, he has to deny himself and take up his cross. And he has to, because his flesh and spirit contradict each other. So if you want to follow God, you have to deny yourself. There's no option to it. You can't follow God while pleasing yourself. And that's why I believe it's in Titus. Paul says they became lovers of pleasure instead of God. We cannot be lovers of pleasure as Christians. If you want to follow God, you have to deny your flesh. It's as simple as that. So if your walk with God is being messed up by self-indulgence right now, deny yourself, deny your fleshly desires, crucify them. Paul says in Galatians that those who are in Jesus have crucified the desires of the flesh with Jesus. So crucify the desires of your flesh. Stop indulging in your flesh. I promise you, your walk with God will grow so much. You're going to see so much breakthrough if you would stop indulging in your flesh and you would deny yourself like Jesus commanded. Because if you want to follow Jesus, you have to deny your flesh. It's not an option.